Hello friends, you welcome to my complete Java course. In today's video lecture, we are going to learn what is the difference between this and super keywords. So let's start. What is the difference between this and super in Java? So basically this represents the current instance of a class, or we can say this represents the current object of the class, current class object, while super represents the current instance of a parent or base class. It means the super represents the object of the parent class. Number 2, used to call the default constructor of the same class, used to call the default constructor of the parent or base class. So let's see this point with the practically how you can call the this current class default constructor by using the this, and the default constructor of the super class by using the super. So now let's I show you the use of super, how to call a super class constructor. You can call the super class constructor by using the super then parenthesis. Suppose we create a class A and we create a constructor, default constructor. Okay, and printing a message class A constructor. In the class B, we create a default constructor, and within the default constructor, we are calling the super class constructor. So when we will create a class B object, so the class B constructor will be called. So in here, when it will call the class B constructor, first it will check there is a super statement. So it will call the super class default constructor and it will execute it. Then it will execute this line. So if you run this program, you will get the output class A constructor and class B constructor. Now I will show you if you want to call a current class, which is, suppose I remove a super, then I create another constructor public B int I. Now here I want to call the default constructor. Default constructor means this. This represents the default constructor for the current class. Now if I create a constructor by passing something like I pass the 10, when I will create this object, it will call the parameterized constructor. In the parameterized constructor, I am calling the default constructor. So this statement will be executed. Let's see. Okay, now if you are thinking that why this is printing a class A constructor, the reason is that if your class extending any class, means if your class is a subclass, so before creating the subclass object, first it will execute the parent class constructor. So before executing this, it will go to the first control will come here. Then before coming here, it will check there is any parent class for that. Yes, B class has a parent class which is A. So it will execute the default constructor of the parameter of the parent class. Because of that, it will print. Now it will check this is the keyword here, so it will execute the default constructor of the class B. That is why you will get the output class A constructor and class B constructor. If you remove this, if you not extending any class, then if you run this, then it will print only the class B constructor, because there is no parent class, so no parent class constructor will be executed. Now next point is used to access method of the current class. This keyword is used to access the method of the current class, and super is used to access the method of the base class. Let's I show you. Suppose we have a two class A and class B, which extend the class A. So class B is a child class and class A is a parent class. Now we create a methods in the class A, public void m1, and in this we are printing parent class A method. Okay, now same thing, we are creating the method m1 in the subclass. Okay, now how you will call this method, because the method is same and it is printing a method name is same. Now if you want to be call a parent class method or the subclass method, then you can use this or super keyword. So the if you want to child class method, you will call this dot sorry uh, so now I create a print method. Within the print method we are calling this dot m1. This dot m1 will execute the m1 method of the current class. Current class means B class, because we are writing the method in this class. Now we are calling the super.m1. Super.m1 will execute the parent class method, parent class m1 method. Okay, now we create the object of a class B and call the print method. Now if you will run this program, you will get the output class B method and class A method. Okay, now go for the next point. Next point is used for pointing the current class instance. So basically this is used for the representing current class object or instance, but super is used for the instance of the parent class. Number 5 must be the first line of a block. It also must be the first line of the block. What is the meaning of this? Let's I show you. Suppose you have a class A and you have a constructor in the class A, public A and default constructor. Okay, and in the subclass you have a subclass constructor, public B. Okay, now if you call a superclass constructor, super. Now if you are writing anything like if you want to print something, so you can write a print statement. Okay, but keep one thing, super and this always comes the first statement in the block or any method. Like if you are defining any method or any constructor, you must define the super in the first statement. If you try to write this super statement after this line, it will give the error. It will give the error. So this and super always written in the first line is first statement of any block. So friends, this was the difference between the this and super. I hope now the picture about the this and super is clear for you, and if you have any doubt you can comment me. I will try to explain more and I will clear your every doubt. So thank you for watching this video lecture and watch my next video lecture for learning new things in Java.